Efforts to fill empty space in town. Our new superintendent of schools gets to work and improvements on the way at Cape Cod Community College. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Monday, August 1st, 2016. I'm Sarah Colvin. There's an empty office on the second floor of Town Hall. Town Manager Mark Els is hoping to fill it this fall. Els, of course, is looking for the next assistant town manager. He explains what he's looking for in a candidate.
Certainly the ability to communicate with the organization, with our public, with other communities, the state. A big part of what you do at this senior level of management is communicate and make decisions, quite honestly. And so I need to make sure that whoever takes the position is a good communicator and has the ability to understand the issues that Barnstable faces and can assist me in moving forward with whatever the issue is at any given time.
Els adds that he is working on some changes to the role and responsibility of the assistant town manager.
There was an assignment, it was actually a dual title that the assistant town manager had, and it was the administrative department head and the assistant town manager. And so really what that meant was legal, HR, finance, and IT all fell under the assistant town manager. What I envision is a little bit different than that. We've got to be careful of how many people report to us, because at a certain point we render ourselves ineffective.
Sure.
So I can't have everybody, certainly, you wouldn't want to have everybody coming directly to the town manager. So my thoughts are that we would put regulatory services, planning, economic development, asset management under the assistant town manager, and still a direct report through the assistant to the town manager. It doesn't diminish any accessibility to the town manager. Those are areas where we need some reorganization, and not that it's problematic, but I just think it can function even better than it does.
The job posting can be found online. Visit townofbarnstable.us and click on Employment. Mark Els is also hoping to fill another empty space in town, the historic Armory building on South Street. Now used just for dry storage, Els says that a request for proposals for the building will go out this week.
The Armory is on South Street, as many of you know, behind Town Hall. It has historic significance. It's an asset that the community acquired decade and a half ago at this point, and unfortunately it's been used minimally, primarily for dry storage and some events that really didn't require the facilities that a municipal building would offer.
Sure.
It's more open space that's indoors, the way it's been used. So the barriers there to occupy that are primarily what you said, that it needs improvement. It needs all new systems in interior. I think the physical structure, the roof, and the physical building are well built and in good condition. But windows, certainly all the bathrooms need to be upgraded. There are some hazmat requirements within it to remove asbestos and some other issues. It needs to be upgraded. It's vintage the year it was built, so there needs to be improvements made. We've gone through several RFPs. I believe again the barrier is the capital costs that'll be associated with this, so we're looking to go out and lease the facility. And we would include in that we're looking for both capital improvements to be made by the tenant, and we're looking for some revenue to be derived. We're also looking for it to be consistent with our arts and culture and downtown environment. So the proposals would need to be again, consistent with that.
Many former Armory buildings across the country have been transformed into cultural centers. Again, that request for proposals is expected to go out this week. Barnstable's new superintendent of schools, Meg Mayo Brown, has officially been on the job for a month. Brown says she applied for the job here because she saw Barnstable as a unique and interesting district.
On one hand, it has some urban-like qualities, which I thoroughly enjoy. It has a rising English language learner population. It's, the poverty certainly isn't as high as Fall River. In Fall River, the free and reduced lunch population, which is the proxy for low income, was close to 80%.
Wow. In
Barnstable, it's about a third. But so it's a district, Barnstable's a district that has a range of diversity and students. That appealed to me. But I think really what appealed to me was the sense of community in the town, the investment in education, the governance of the school committee. It's a very well run school
Brown
committee.
says one of her initial goals is to complete work on the entry plan.
And that's really an opportunity to learn where the system has been, where does it stand now, and where does it want to be. And that's not for me to determine where it wants to be, but it's really where does the community, where does the school committee want the district to go, in what direction. So it's usually about a 3-month process where the superintendent interviews all stakeholders, principals, central office, community officials, town officials, and asks a series of published, transparent interview questions for everyone. And then, a review of the data and some other documents, and you really pull together a presentation that you can make to the school committee and to the town in terms of here's what I've learned, and then that really creates an opportunity to set the course or the
Meg
path.
Mayo Brown comes to Barnstable after serving as superintendent of schools in Fall River. Access to the library at Cape Cod Community College is limited while work on a new elevator is completed, according to College Communication Director Michael Gross.
What's most important right now is that we want the public to know that access to our library is a bit changed. For those individuals who find it difficult to come up those tall steps and get up and down in the library itself, we're putting a brand new elevator in the center of the library. If anybody's ever been in it, there's a tiny little elevator in the center of that building. It's been there since the facility was built in the early 70s, and it's finally being rebuilt into a nice, handicapped accessible, a nice big elevator. But that means there's no longer handicapped accessibility to all of the floors. So right now we've established access in the very first floor, entrance floor for individuals, and people who have wheelchairs, have access problems, will be served there in our very lower entrance, probably for the next 4 to 5 weeks. It'll take a little while to get all of this work done, but once done, this very heavily used public building of the facility here on campus will really be wonderfully redone. And it's very important work. But right now, if you're someone who normally comes and does a lot of genealogical work, comes in and uses a lot of the library's resources, and you have a mobility problem, you want to come into the campus, use the very lower door of our library, and there'll be someone there to greet you and work with you. It would be helpful if you kind of called ahead and saying you're coming, and then we'll take care of it. But the good news is 4 to 5 weeks, a brand new internal elevator for the building, nice access. But right now, you kind of have to.
And the library is not the only section on campus receiving upgrades. The Life Fitness Center is getting a facelift.
Well, we're going to have someone on campus working on health and wellness, as well as this new facility renovation, and it's almost done. Beautiful new floor in there, beautiful work. And so students and faculty really will see something nice when they get here.
Last semester, the college nearly opted to close down the Life Fitness Center. Students protested when they heard that news, prompting the school to instead invest in the area. The Department of Public Works is planning changes and improvements to the transfer station in Marston's Mills. A public meeting will be held Tuesday, August 2nd at 6 p.m. That meeting will include an overview of the proposed site improvements, along with a timeline for accomplishing those improvements. Public comments will be recorded and questions will be answered. Be sure to tune in to our hour-long daily news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on Channel 18. Tomorrow, we will talk with Chief of Police Paul McDonald, State Rep Tim Whalen, and Director of Public Works Dan Santos. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Colvin.